The Vikings were not reckless raiders driven by chaos. They were disciplined operators shaped by environment, scarcity, and constant threat. Every skill they developed had a function tied directly to survival, warfare, and endurance across hostile terrain. These were not abstract ideals, but learned competencies refined through repetition, failure, and necessity. What follows are 10 Viking skills that still matter today, not as romantic symbolism, but as practical knowledge with real-world application for anyone serious about history, survival, and martial discipline. Weapon familiarity was built through daily handling, not battlefield theory. A Viking did not separate training from daily life. Weapons were tools first and weapons second. The axe chopped wood, butchered animals, and only then split shields. Swords were maintained personally, balanced, sharpened, and repaired by the owner. This constant interaction created instinctive control. A modern practitioner can apply this by mastering a single tool deeply rather than collecting many. Whether it's an axe, knife, or staff, daily handling builds muscle memory that no occasional training session can replace. Shield use was about positioning and timing, not passive defense. The round shield was an active weapon. Vikings punched with it, hooked enemy shields, controlled distance, and dictated movement. The shield walls. They were flexible formations, advancing and retreating with a certain rhythm, not just static lines. It's a fascinating concept, really. Practically speaking, this teaches us control of space. In today's world, this translates to understanding angles, foot placement, and timing, rather than relying solely on brute force. You know, even in unarmed self-defense, this mindset is incredibly beneficial. It's all about controlling the encounter rather than merely reacting to it. Quite the shift in perspective, isn't it? Navigation in those days, it relied heavily on environmental literacy, not just instruments. Viking navigation was an art, combining the sun's position, wind patterns, bird behavior, wave direction, and cloud formation. They read the sea like it was a familiar terrain. It's truly remarkable. On land, they tracked moss growth, water flow, and animal paths. This level of environmental awareness is, well, directly applicable today. Learning to orient yourself without GPS, recognizing weather shifts before they arrive, and understanding terrain movement can mean the difference between control and vulnerability in wilderness or crisis situations. Physical conditioning came from labor, not structured exercise. Viking strength was functional. Rowing ships, hauling cargo, forging iron, and building longhouses produced endurance, grip strength, and resilience. There was no separation between work and conditioning. For modern application, this means, prioritizing compound movements and real labor over isolated gym routines. Carrying weight, pulling, lifting awkward objects, and sustaining effort over time, well, that builds the same type of durable strength the Vikings relied on. Cold tolerance was trained through exposure, not resistance. Scandinavian environments demanded adaptation. Cold water, wind, and limited shelter, you see, force the body to acclimate. This wasn't reckless exposure, but gradual conditioning. Modern cold exposure, when done safely, improves mental control, circulation awareness, and stress management. The Viking mindset, you see, treated discomfort as something entirely normal, not as something to escape from. That psychological shift alone, well, it has value far beyond any physical benefits. Group cohesion was enforced through shared responsibility, not by rank alone. Viking crews, they operated on mutual dependence. Every man had a role, and failure, well, it endangered everyone. Leadership was earned through competence, not simply a title. In practice, this teaches accountability. Modern teams, whether in fieldwork, expeditions, or training groups, they really do benefit from this principle. Everyone must understand their function, and, of course, the consequences of neglecting it. This creates trust rooted in performance, not authority. Mental toughness was forged through acceptance of risk, not denial of fear. Vikings did not lack fear. They accepted it as part of existence. Their sagas repeatedly emphasize preparation, resolve, and calm under pressure rather than bravado. Applying this today means training under stress, rehearsing failure scenarios, and maintaining clarity when outcomes are uncertain. Mental resilience grows when risk is acknowledged and managed, not ignored. Resource management, determined survival more than aggression ever could. Raiding, well, it really succeeded because Vikings understood logistics. Food preservation, ship maintenance, repair skills, and a good bit of ration discipline kept those expeditions alive. A modern survivalist honestly applies this by prioritizing planning over action. Knowing how long supplies last, how to repair equipment, and when to conserve energy, well, that reflects the very same mindset that sustained Viking campaigns far from home. Adaptability, without a doubt, defined Viking success across Europe. Vikings didn't just impose one method everywhere, no. They adapted to rivers, forests, coastlines, and even urban defences. They learned local tactics and adjusted their approach, you see. This skill applies directly today. Rigidity fails. Adaptability wins. Whether in training, survival scenarios, or even professional environments, the ability to adjust methods without losing purpose really mirrors Viking operational thinking, doesn't it? Legacy was built through skill transmission, not individual achievement. Viking knowledge survived because it was taught. Craftsmanship, navigation, combat skills, and oral history passed from one generation to the next. For modern practitioners, this means documenting, teaching, and refining skills rather than hoarding them. Knowledge that isn't shared dies. The Viking world understood that survival was collective. These skills are not relics. They are functional principles forged in extreme conditions and proven across centuries of conflict and endurance. If you study Viking history seriously, the value lies not in aesthetics, but in application. Learn deeply, train deliberately, adapt constantly. If this guide added something real to your understanding of Viking warfare and survival culture, support the channel by subscribing, sharing this with fellow historians and survivalists, and keeping Warpaths of Europe moving forward.